controversial subjects with the facts can be tense, but we are a sub-science here to make things make sense.
Yet again, here to announce that we might break up in this episode. We don't know yet.
Well, we've been fighting a lot just around the premise of doing this research.
Because, you know, as many of you know, I mean, we are very different in a lot of ways. I know I found that research once that was like actually opposites don't attract. Like, it is true. We are mostly similar when you look at the greater context, but it's funny that we have.
Yeah, like
I
we're
am
both
curious.
gay.
So if you haven't heard of love languages before, just for context, it was like introduced in 1992 by an author who had released this really popular book.
I think we need to start by saying something. Yeah. Invented by a man. Red flag. Gary Chapman. That's the second I was like, it's like, is love languages real? It's like, oh, well, it's the 90s and we're talking a man here. So maybe we're going to hold up a red flag. Anyways, continue.
Okay. But the premise around them was that humans, people, we all have a unique love language, and that there's basically 5 of them, and we all kind of crave different things, and sometimes we're not really giving our partners what they want or what they need. And so
he was a marriage counselor, to be fair.
He wrote this based off his experience,
yes,
but not necessarily based off of like research.
And he is Gary Chapman, we're talking about, the father of the 5 love languages, which I think it must have been BuzzFeed because it took off real hard for millennials like 10 years ago or whatever. But
I think not just BuzzFeed. I think this became like, I'm not saying like therapists necessarily pushed it, but I think this has become a very well-known construct. The book sold over 12 million copies. So I think it like just became a phenomenon that then became really pervasive in mainstream culture.
He also runs an institute that does research on relationships and communication styles. And there was this one study I found on him that he was able, like, it was like, I think 100 couples, and he was able to predict with 95% accuracy, like, which ones would stay together over 10 years. So I'm just trying to give Gary Chapman, because I did drag him hard off the top, his dues, but like, still, it's like, I don't know why I couldn't believe
I
thought it would at least be a woman. I don't know why. I just don't know.
It was the 90s. Women weren't allowed to do anything until...
Yeah, the 90s, like, that's really messed up. Like, are you kidding?
So the 5 love languages that he created, or not created, but categories that he put them into were acts of service.
Okay, so you're starting with that one. Interesting choice. I'm kidding.
That's the letter A.
Okay. And so that is when you value when your partner goes out of the way to make life easier. Soup when they're sick. Coffee in the morning. Oh, you woke up. Here's your coffee, hun.
Or being like, I filled up your car with gas for you.
Yeah. Oh, guess what? I got your dry cleaning.
Okay.
And I'd also want to say that you're supposed to figure out the one that you appreciate the most receiving, not the one you like to give.
Yeah, the concept is, what is it that you want?
Yes.
What is your love language?
Actually, when people would talk before, I would sometimes go, this is the one I like to do to others.
Oh, I see.
But no, like, there's a really strong focus in the research about what it is that you want.
Fair.
Because apparently this information is supposed to help your partner, not help you help your partner. Like,
yeah, but
you know what I mean?
I think the premise behind it is also, if you understand your partner's love language,
yes,
then you can like create a stronger relationship by understanding how to connect with them in case it's different than yours.
Yeah, my point is that it's like you're going to be probably good at the one you want to receive. Right? Like, so it's like you might be like, oh, I'm so good at this one, but other people might have different ones, and it's one they want to receive. Okay, continue.
Next is gifts. So literally just straight up like gift giving. Like, I thought of you, here's some flowers. Or like buying things when something reminds you of someone. You're out traveling and you're like, oh my gosh, this, like, my friend would love this. Like, I'm going to give them a gift.
Yeah.
Or I like receiving gifts.
Also, he made a strong point, Gary, my friend Gary, that is not material. Like, for the most part, these are about thought. So like visual symbols of love. So
like, just giving someone money is not what it means.
It's
like it shows they thought about you,
and
that they care about you when you're like, they're thinking about you when you're not there.
Yeah. So this is, again, something. Is this what you like? Do you like when your partner gives you something that shows that they feel meaningful to you?
Yeah. Next is quality time.
So this is like, do you want your partner to be spending time? Does it feel like they want to spend time with you? Or when they spend time with you, is that when you feel the most appreciated? And they also made points to say that this would be someone who's like date night, like, oh my God, like they're like, hey, come here. Why don't we go on a date tonight? Like if all of a sudden you're like boing, 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 boing,
Yeah,
and you're
or
hard
if
for
you
that.
imagine you're like go on a hike with your partner or doing an activity you like with your partner, does that bring you a lot of like warm satisfaction?
And then also that it's full presence. So it's like undivided attention. There's a lot of like, the phone's down, eye contact is being made. Because I thought that was a good point. Like you can go on a hike with someone and truly
be
just like
not
stomp,
present.
stomp, stomp,
Yeah.
and then be like 2K, sick, and then go home. And
Yeah,
it's, like,
it's about being
yeah,
together.
Yeah.
Next, words of affirmation. So that's literally just wanting someone to let you know that they appreciate you and to be verbally complimenting you and going out of their way to say things and make you feel loved and comfortable.
What was interesting about this one in a recent study was that it's also if you like feel love when your partner comments on your Instagram or texts you or is even showing
like
acknowledgements
outwardly.
on social media in
That
public.
is so funny.
And I was like, that is so interesting. It's like,
I guess that's true.
yeah, it's like and I sometimes like see like couples on Instagram, like one of them will like post like this is probably like a gay phenomenon. Obviously, it's a straight phenomenon too. But, like some like gay guy in a couple will post like some thirsty ass photo of him like thong out, like, and it's just like, oh my god, I wonder what his partner thinks. And then the top comments like, "Babe, I love your cheeks" or whatever, and it's like, oh, that's actually so cute. Like, you know what I mean? It's like that is maybe the most important comment.
Yeah.
Whereas
the one that you care the most about, like
it's
the
like your
person
partner,
you
and it is
love,
kind of like,
yeah.
oh, whoa. Whereas in my head, it's like.
I think also like there's one more love language, but they can also apply to friendships too, right? Like you
all of
share
this can
love.
apply to
it's not just
and
romantic
family.
relationships. So like even seeing your friends comment or give you
Although we're about to
affirmations.
get to the one that would be more weird for family.
Oh,
get
that's
into
fair.
it.
It's physical touch.
We're not a pro incest pod. I know that you guys think we're such dirty little freaks, but yeah, this one's about consent with
yeah, but
partners.
obviously like even in your family and friendship, like hugging
Yeah,
friends,
yeah.
like that kind of stuff. If that makes you feel close to some people are like, I want to hug my friends.
Yeah.
I want to hold their hand. I want
Totally.
to be physically close
and I do
to
love
them.
that.
So it can be,
but sex is a part of this for couples.
for relationships. Yeah.
Because like some people might really need like a really
Intimacy.
intense sex life, whereas other people might give or take. Like who cares? Yeah. And this one is the most obviously. For whatever reason, the study I said was the most psychologically rooted in potential childhood, where you might have felt the most connected to your family when they kissed and touched you and hugged you and stuff.
So, I mean, today we're going to talk a little bit about like we've both done the quiz. So there is a quiz you can take. It's honestly like 5 minutes. You can find it online if you look up the love language quiz, and it's evaluating.
Isn't it lovelanguagequiz.com?
Something like, or it's like 5lovelanguage.com. Or I forget what the website is.
And you definitely have to answer quickly and instinctively, because if you think about Mitch just looked at me because he says that I talked over him. Girl, go to the earlier parts of this pod and the amount of times I was like, should I say something? Should I say something? He's talking over me. I was just going to say, because the questions are so simple that if you wait to think about them, you'll be like, well, obviously I know this one's trying to tell me physical touch. You have to do it, from what I read, be really quick about it.
Okay.
Did you not?
Well, I think deeply, so I wasn't trying to guess what it was trying to do.
Oh, okay.
I was actually just thinking like, which one actually would feel more meaningful? Because sometimes they're similar. I like both of them, so I'm just like, which one would I actually be sadder without?
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I'm saying like, so the first question, for example, is I receive a loving note, text, or email for no special reason from my loved one, or my partner and I hug.
And the question is, which of those is more meaningful?
My point is like, if you do it slowly, you could be like, well, that's obviously physical touch, and that one's obviously words of affirmation, and so it's just like.
I mean, you can scam any survey. Yeah. Like, if you want to know the real answer, you should think about what they make you feel.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's just do one for you. It's more meaningful to me.
Because when you cut me off, I was talking about something else.
Oh my god! Okay, so I thought we were gonna break up because of our love languages. We're just gonna break up because of that.
No, I was.
I'm not. I quit. I'm kidding.
You didn't forget what I was gonna say now.
It was about the quiz. It was about, you were like, the quiz, you can go online. It's super quick. And it will tell you your love language. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, what we're going to do today is, like, talk about this, talk about how legit it is if there's science behind it outside of the fact that you can just be told. You get told, like, what your love language is at the end.
Yeah.
And now they've updated it so it does give you, like, different percentages of of which ones you are, which has always been considered a problem, that like
You get
not
one.
everyone is like only communicating in one love language.
Yeah.
Like you could like all of these in different contexts. So now you kind of get like your top percentage is this love language, and then it gives you all your other ones.
Okay, so question 1, we're going to do only one question. Is it more meaningful to me when ... I receive a loving note, text, email for no special reason from my loved one, or my partner and I hug?
And what would you say?
I said no.
I said hug.
Because I was like, girl, if you left me a note, I would be like, oh my God.
Yeah, but we text like all day, every day.
Excuse me, your text is, did you feed the dog? Did you pick up his shit? Whereas this is about a like really loving note. Like if you text me a loving note, it would be so warm and fuzzy. I don't get those every day.
Okay.
And so yours is partner and I hug.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So do we want to say our results, or do we want to talk more about the psychology?
Okay, well, why don't we first say our results, and then we can talk about... Okay, wait. Actually, before these results, I kind of want to talk about some of the limitations, and then we'll actually go into like the research after we give our results.
Okay.
So, like I said, it only gives you one. Other limitation is like, for a long time, this was not actually studied. Like he came up with this idea in his own practice, but never did any research. And the big question is like, does it, even if people have love languages, the bigger question is, does it actually impact relationships?
Yeah.
Like, are relationships better off when people know each other's love languages or know their own?
So we'll talk about that research after, because there has been a lot of research since then.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the other thing about his is that it's extremely antiquated and sexist. So there were like, when it came to like quality, or no, what is it? Like when you do things for other people?
Acts of service?
Acts of service. It would be like, the man does the dishes once. Like there were like in his actual book.
Yeah.
It was sort of like men were designed to bring home the paycheck. Like
Right.
there was an uneven understanding of them. And so later we'll get
Just
into
gendered
a
roles,
new 7 love languages concepts that are less sexist that a woman made.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, because it was true. It was like a man's act of service would be like doing the dishes once a week or whatever, and then
They're like,
"Slay."
that's actually fucked
and
up.
it's like, no, you both ate the
we
meal.
shouldn't
so
be like,
you
wow,
both
he
did-"
knows my love
Yeah,
language. He did
which-
dishes one time.
Yeah, and the woman's like, oh my god.
Okay.
Okay.
So, do you want to, like, I'm so curious if people could guess our love languages. Should we guess each other's top love language and then...
This is why we're breaking up, because I'm like, I have no idea
what mine
I know
is?
yours won't be gifts, because that's the one thing we both struggle with. And if it is gifts, then slit my throat and I'm done.
I think, honestly, looking at mine, I think they're going to be the same.
I think
the order of them.
No.
That's my guess.
No. I think that they're going to be different, because they can't be the same, because there's no way that we're doing a good job at helping each other.
Wait, what do you mean?
Because there's been tension every time it's brought up. I feel like if I knew your love language, I would know what to do. And I feel like I don't know what to do with you. I think your number 1 is quality time.
Oh, it is?
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, you don't think that yours is also quality
No, mine's
time?
not. Like quality time's my 3rd lowest. It's actually really low.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I don't know yours.
Okay, so what do you think mine is?
Well, I would have guessed quality time.
Wow.
Oh my God, you're watching the relationship fall apart in real time.
So you
No.
don't know my love language. Oh, how long have we been together?
Okay, well, is it words of affirmation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa. So we did guess each other's.
Yeah, but I would have guessed quality time for you.
Okay, so mine is words of affirmation 40%, physical touch 27%.
No way.
I know. I actually am like, we really need to change our relationship. Well, we'll talk about the studies later. Quality time 20%, acts of service 7%, receiving gifts 7%.
Okay.
Your turn.
So you got it correct. Quality time 30%. So mine percentages are lower, so maybe I'm a little more balanced. I'm kidding. Number 2 is words of affirmation.
Okay.
3 acts of service at 20%.
Wow.
Physical touch was only 17% for me, which I was kind of surprised about. And then receiving gifts, 7%.
Wow.
So like, okay, I think we're both on the same page. Like we're not gift givers and we don't care about
gifts.
gifts.
Actually, it's like yeah, give me a gift, but it's for you, babe. Like whenever someone gives me a gift, I'm like, yeah, I hope that I know that your love language is giving gifts. So I hope you got a lot out of this.
I thought physical touch would be higher for me.
It's so high for me, Mitch.
Interesting.
We need to touch more. No, we really do. Both of mine.
You know what though? Something in the questions that changed the results of physical touch for me, which might be part of
This
the
is what I'm
bias.
saying. Be instinctual. This guy was overthinking it. Continue.
No, I wasn't. But they all say my partner physically holds my hand in public. Is what it said.
I know.
So
That
I
matters to
like
me.
okay, but I'm saying I would choose that if it didn't say in public because I'm a nervous person. I've grown up scared of homophobia and all these things, so I have an aversion to.
If you're straight in Toronto, that's when you're discriminated. Okay.
No, hear me
You're
out. Just because
fine.
it's true or not doesn't mean that I may not have a fear around it. So I wasn't choosing any of those physical touch ones that said in public.
But you can still do it in the movie theater. No one's looking. I think that it matters. I think part of physical touch is being like, this is me. We're here. We're queer. Now give us a light beer.
But I'm a scared
But I
person.
could not get over mine. I thought mine was quality time. Whenever people go, what's your love language? I'm like, quality time. And then like,
So it's
end
words
the
of
conversation.
affirmation.
It's words of affirmation, 40%. And I was like, that
40
is true.
is huge.
And I will say, when people say something nice about me, I'm like, unzip your pants. Like, you want me to blow you? Like, I'm just like, it's so crazy. Like, now that I know this, I'm like, whoa. Because I would never have said it because I'm not good at taking words of, like, I'm not someone who goes like, grabs them by the shoulder and looks them in the eye and goes, thank you for your compliment.
Well, they say words of affirmation is the hardest one to receive because people have a hard time like processing it.
Yeah, and
Like,
I think-
I was reading, like, I don't know if it was part of research or just like something I was reading. Therapists will even say in therapy sessions, people immediately squirm away when the therapist compliments them and they want to talk about the things that are wrong. And it's really difficult for people to face the things that are good.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm so uncomfortable with compliments. So I think that's why I'm like, this is so important for me to understand.
like you
'Cause
need it, you want
Because now
it.
I need to just tell people that because it's like, yeah, I want it so bad. And then
Well, maybe it
physical
also-
touch too. Like I need physical touch. And I thought I didn't, but I do. And
That's really
you
good to know.
need quality time is your number one.
Yeah, well,
that is so funny because I thought that was mine and like you never want quality time. We are so bad. Like, how did I not know that?
Well, again, we're going to talk about how legit these are anyway.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's get into that. Okay, let's get into that because there's
it
pros
doesn't
and there's
mean
cons.
we're bad. We've been together 17 years, first
Yes.
of all.
But there was a 2022 study on 100 heterosexual couples, and they
Heterosexual?
yeah, I know why I said it like that. And when they talked about love languages and understood each other's, not that they had the same ones, but when they understood each other's and through
Can you restart? Sorry, I kind of spaced out because, I'm burnt out right now. Starting out with the study, you said it was from when or what were you saying?
2022.
Okay, because I got one from 2023 as well, and I didn't know if we were going to show the same study. That's why I
Oh my
panicked
god!
about
I'm okay, so now it's a competition.
No.
Now mine's old.
No, it's just like if we got the same study, then I want to like share delivering the info because then I'm going to have nothing else to say.
It's different.
Okay.
100 hetero couples. Survey.
Mine's 83.
Survey based.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so essentially they were talking about through the survey they were trying to figure out if the people understood the other person's love language and if they acted on knowing the other person's love language.
Okay.
So it wasn't about having the same love language or whatever. It was about whether they essentially could like have empathy for the other person by understanding their love language even when it was different from theirs.
Yeah.
And like they based it on other research that did find that there was a boost to relationship and personal well-being and satisfaction when they were aware of the other person's and acted on it. And this study found the same thing, that when they were able to understand, they would actually have quote unquote better relationships, again, just through surveys. But then one aspect of this study was with 89 of the participants, they got them to complete the love language questionnaire, and then they like made them listen to people, like imaginary scripts going over different scenarios, and when it was the love language that they preferred,
Like
they
for
had
themselves?
Yeah, they increased skin conductance, heart rate, and pulse rate. So they actually had a change physiologically when people were talking. Like they were more aroused when people were talking about the one that they cared about.
That makes sense.
So these
Like,
are pro studies because there are some con studies, but it's like it's not a bad thing to understand and do this quiz and talk to your relationship and your couple about it, because the couples who did had in this small study better relationships.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and I think like even when a construct like this is not necessarily the truth, like, and we've talked about personality tests, or we were saying we might do an episode on that. It's like sometimes just being able to bounce your thoughts around that can teach you a lot about yourself, right? So just even if like love languages aren't written in stone, it's like when you think about it, it actually at least makes you self-reflect.
As long as you're not being like, oh no, I'm this, so that's all I care about.
Exactly.
It's like I do like gifts.
And
I
people
guess.
often say like personality tests can pigeonhole what you think your potential is.
Yeah.
When you could be something
like
totally
when
different.
you go, oh, I actually can't do that.
Yeah.
Because
And so I'm sure
gift giving, like we are so bad at giving gifts because I think we've gone, oh, our love language isn't gift giving. It's like, no, if I didn't know that, I might be like, oh, I really should put more effort into gift giving because it's blah, blah, blah.
and you can improve anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you feel like it's something you want to get better at, then you can put energy.
I think just like the pigeonholing of personality tests and this could be bad. If you just go, that's who I am and that's the way
and
it
I
is.
can't change. And
because I did a 25 question survey.
I'm not saying anyone, some people maybe can't change, but like, a survey is not going to tell you more about you than you can figure out just by like thinking about yourself.
Yeah. Okay, do your 2023 study, Mr.
Okay,
Current.
came out October 2023. But
it's fresh.
It's pretty similar to your premise in terms of they were looking at like whether the love language claim is accurate and knowing your partner's love language, like whether or not that's useful to a relationship, which is kind of what you said, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what they were investigating.
Yeah.
Not just like whether or not love languages are real, but if knowing them impacts your ability to improve
exactly
your
this
relationship.
one.
So it sounds like the exact same. Let me see. So, I mean, same. It was really similar. I'm trying to see if there's any different results. You don't care if there's 83 couples. They weren't all hetero. I'll let you know.
Really?
In this case,
This one was all hetero and
majority. Yeah.
Hetero and monog.
And in this one, they took the survey, but they also had like all the supplementary stuff that they would make them do, including asking them taking those same questions and then asking them to put it from the perspective of how they behave towards their partner.
Oh, I see. Not what do you want, but what do you do?
Yeah, so like when we looked at that one question that was like, would you rather a hug or another message? They'd say, now, what do you think your partner would want in this situation? So like they're actively thinking about their partner's love languages because they're trying to track, do you understand your partner's love language?
Okay, so yours is quality time. I have to remember that. So I need to get off my phone. Okay, fair.
Yeah.
But I do feel like this is going to help. This is going to help our relationship.
So,
it will help.
Here are my results. Hopefully they're somewhat more like adding to yours. First, people overestimated what their partners desired. So like a lot of people like were not like really like, I don't know what that means. The more somebody preferred a specific language, the more people thought their partners preferred the same one.
Yeah.
So like even the way I thought you wanted quality time, obviously that's mine. So I like see it more in you. Probably the moments when you want quality time, I'm like, see, he loves quality time.
Yeah.
So like that happened. But people were generally accurate about their partner's preferences.
So we were accurate about each other, but for whatever reason, we had to think about it and it wasn't our instinct.
And it was just like, still I would say our top two we kind of knew.
No, we knew each other's top. We just said.
But I didn't know your top. Only you guessed mine. And because you said it wasn't yours, that helped me.
Oh, you would have said
guessed
quality time.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was until I did the study.
Okay, here's the thing. People who did acts of service did understand what their partners wanted, but were the most likely to associate their partner with wanting that. And if you, I didn't mean to read that sentence.
Didn't make sense.
Okay, sorry. I actually meant to talk about words of affirmation. Okay. So almost every other
Which is
category,
the one I want.
Almost every other category, if you prefer gifts, you were able to see that you would see, oh, my partner gives me a lot of gifts. Like you would see them doing that in every other category.
You'd be like, it's Christmas, I gotta get.
Yeah, or like people who prefer gifts see their partner as giving them lots of gifts. That's like a very nice thing.
Oh wait, I'm the one where
people who want acts of service see that their partners are doing acts of service. But people who prefer words of affirmation
don't see it.
You perceive your partner as being less affirming.
Yeah, you don't affirm me enough. and neither does my family, and neither do my friends.
So that was the one deviation.
Wait, I have the one shitty one.
It's not shitty. It's just
girl. There's another word for what your research says. It says it's the shitty one.
So part of the discussion around why this might be in there, like there should be more research into this because like some things
They're
could
like,
be chicken or the
people
egg.
who have this are psychopaths. I'm like,
no,
what?
they were saying like their hypotheses, obviously, and this is not studied, is like gift giving is very transactional and easy to understand. Quality time is a little more easy to like organize quality time. But going back to that therapy thing, it's like words of affirmation are kind of a lot harder and kind of awkward. Right?
Yeah, I
like,
just want you to tell me all the time how amazing I am, like all the time. Like
you are amazing. You are.
See, that feels good.
Yeah, you are an
I'm
amazing
getting
person.
hard.
No, I love you. I think you're an amazing human being.
Yeah, I know. I can count on my hands like the times that you've said that. I can picture when it was said.
Oh my god.
Now I'm turning red.
See, you're deflecting.
I know, but that's fine. That's part of it.
You gotta be able to take it. So you actually
I am
hear
taking it.
So maybe it's harder to take it, and that's why you feel like it happens less. In the way that this is saying people who need
And
words
I
of
have like a
affirmation.
psychotic disease that my therapist is always like, I'm really good at making it so that people don't say nice things to me because I'm really good at making sure everyone thinks that I'm so fine.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm the type of person people, including my family, yeah, mom and dad, if you're listening to this, like they don't want to compliment me because I think that they think that I'm like going to get like conceited because I do have like the best life ever.
So it sounds like you deflect
I
compliments.
deflect compliments, but that's what I want the most.
Okay, so then maybe you gotta think about like letting them land.
I am.
It says,
I'm just literally
accurately
panicking.
predicting your partner's love language is associated with greater relationship satisfaction, except if words of affirmation is equality. So there's something about words of affirmation, and you should think about that, and I should think about that because that's still number 2 for me.
Yeah.
About like not feeling
Why do I
like
have
your
this
partner gives it to you.
fucked
And
one?
anyone listening or watching, like
Even Ernie, my dog, is like, I pet you so much.
he can't speak.
I know, but it's like you actually need to sort of pet me back a little bit. You know what I mean? Now I'm mad at my dog.
I think
and
about that
whatever.
sometimes with Ernie. I'm like, I give you
So
world's best
much.
massages every day.
Ernie, we give you so much. And sometimes I think, what are you giving me? Yes, you sometimes when I'm sad will come, but sometimes you won't. And you know what? Wow. I'm looking at him right now and it's like, I feel really bad that we're like talking about him. He doesn't know, but he knows.
He doesn't know. Okay, last thing. So weirdly, what this study found overall was understanding your partner's language, like
Quality
me
time.
understanding yours, is actually in the relationship going to give me more satisfaction and not you, which is very weird. You think like me understanding you would bring you satisfaction. What they realized is like actually understanding your partners brings you satisfaction.
That makes sense because you get to be like, Slay, I did it.
And you feel like you understand them probably on a deeper level, but it's not bringing more satisfaction to your partner.
Quality time. So I have to play Zelda with you.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting hard.
Okay, so the cons of this all.
Okay, what are the cons?
It's literally like, LOL, love is nuanced was one of the like discussions of the paper set. It's like, that's so like that
to break
is
it down
true.
so
It doesn't capture
simply.
everyone. Some people have felt alienated because like maybe like they're like, am I a psychopath because I don't like any of these? And it's like, you're not. And a lot
I'm sure it's
of
in flux.
people what?
Like in different times of your life, you might want different things.
Yes, but also a lot of people really forget that it's not about like that doing this, they start to go, let's use me as an example. I love affirmation. And then they start knowing that. So then they start affirming their partner and then realizing that like their partner's like, I don't actually care about that. But you're like, but I'm affirming you. And it's like, no, that's what you want.
Yeah.
And so people sometimes forget how this functions and they become obsessed with what theirs is. And they forget the whole idea of this is to know what the people around yous are. So you can change your actions, which I was like, that is so funny because I think everyone probably did this quiz and BuzzFeeded it up and got so hyper focused on their own and forgot that actually isn't going to psychologically help a situation.
Yeah, I guess like
Except
maybe,
unless you're telling people what you want.
And maybe it could help you understand if people have like natural proclivities to act certain ways. Maybe it would help you find a partner if you're looking that like naturally fulfills those desires. You know what I mean? Not that that's necessarily a good thing. I don't know.
But that was another issue. Like they were talking about a Hinge study. So also there was a funny Hinge study that found men, the highest likelihood was that it was physical touch, and women, the highest likelihood was that it was words of affirmation. They were saying South Asian
So they're calling us women.
Yeah, we're gay. We're half women or whatever. I'm just kidding. South Asian cultures, when it came to words of affirmation, it was less about being told them and more about finding out that your partner said something about you
to somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
and
cool.
that they like. And then another one was that public displays of affection are extremely Western. So there will be like there's issues with that.
Okay, there you go, Mr. Whitey.
Okay,
That's why I have trouble with public
know.
displays of affection.
I'm white as a uncooked chicken.
Yeah, but you were yelling at me.
I know. And then also, what were you? Oh, the hinge stuff. They were saying that like it can create issues because I think it's a hinge.
Oh, like a category?
Category. So sometimes people
like matches
will,
you with people, or you
people will
people?
assume they want the same, and then they were saying the con is that actually you maybe don't want the same because it's all about adaptation and not relying and not becoming codependent and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then this is a woman researcher who was very like I guess disturbed, obviously, by the like Chapman's
inert
book,
sexism. Yeah.
that like you know that husbands have like done something if they like wash the dishes. And so her 7 love languages are this: activity, when a partner takes interest in activity or makes an effort to enjoy their hobbies. So it's like your love language is your partner being like, I know that you love to paint,
like, let's
or
do
I
this
know that you
together,
love
or
to hike, let's go on a hike. It's like, okay, interesting.
cute.
These ones are all very related to the ones we already talked about. Appreciation, similar to like the compliments and words of affirmation, feeling loved. Emotional, feel as though they connect at the toughest times. So like it's just sort of like when things are bad, feeling like your partner is like connecting with you. Financial, so this is like the part that's like supposed to help, because they're like, even in relationships now, a lot of women are making more money than the men. So does it matter to you if your partner is generous with their money towards you? So there might be a lot of men out there who are like, I actually am so attracted to my like CEO girlfriend who's paying for my dinners and who's like valuing me financially. That is turning me on, and that is like a love language. And I was like, that is like interesting to include it.
Yeah, because especially in like hetero relationships, like that can be a hang up for a lot of people if they're not making the most money. And they expect it
and
to
it's
be
like
the
talk
breadwinner.
about it rather than in the Chapman book, which is the assumption that the man's making the money, and then there's
Yeah.
all this sexist jargon. It's like, no, if you have a financial love language and you actually appreciate getting money spent on you, whether you're a guy, a girl, or anything in between, my NB money hungry people out there, that's a really important thing to know. Like I like would, if I knew someone liked having money spent on them, I'd be like, let's go to dinner, I'll pay. Like, you know what I mean? It makes it so much less like, well, who's paying? If you know that's what that, but then if they're like, I actually don't give a shit, like I'm not, and then you're like, me neither, then you just split it halfway, and there's no, it's like, what do you actually want? There's what society says, what do you actually want? I thought that was a good one. Then intellectual, and I was like, this is so weird, it's not on the 5. Like you feel loved when you feel like your intelligence is valued, when you have engaging conversations, thoughtful discussions. And I was like, why
I like that
is
one.
that not one? Because I'm like, yeah, that is like,
to me, that's part of quality time.
but it's like
how I imagine.
But that
it,
is so like,
it is separate.
yeah, you can have quality time and not have a deep discussion.
Yeah, totally.
I remember like had a pre-drink recently, and like someone just like went, like, you know when you can just tell someone's willing to go deep, and I literally was like tunnel visioned in on them. I was like, I love you. Yeah, like, or it's just like, I hate like
shallow combos.
well,
or?
I don't hate shallow combos because they're really important for like specific scenarios and can be really fun. Like if you're baristaing it up. But if I'm at like a pre-drink and we're with the gays, it's fun to do the pop culture and like whatever thing. But at a certain point, when it starts to shift to more, I get really like, I don't need to go out. Like I get really like I want to do
fun
this.
to talk about something.
I notice that there's a trigger in my head that like, and I can tell other people are like, oh God, can we go back to talking about Kim Petras and then go out? Which I also respect, but there's something that's almost like, if in those moments the whole night shifted and it became just about that, I would be happy, and I know other people wouldn't. So I'm like, I think I have the intellectual one. Physical, feeling adored and valued through physical touch. Practical, when their partners chip in, do chores, offer to help.
I would like that one too.
Well, that kind of reminds me of isn't that acts of service?
I guess, yeah.
To me, financial and intellectual felt like the 2 additions in this 7.
Yeah, but they could be considered part of other ones, I think.
Okay.
Like gift giving could be considered financial. But it's nice to parse them out because to me, acts of service could include like chores, but it feels like that is such a very specific part of relationships. Even when you live with roommates and stuff, it's like chores are such like who's doing the dishes, who's cleaning the kitchen, like those things matter and like can cause a lot of stress amongst groups of people.
This 7 is good because financial is really interesting because people are like, it's like you need to talk about that if you're in a couple. You need to understand, how is this money affecting them? Is this your love language or is this just a practicality? If it's your love language, we need to parse that out.
If we ever end ASAP Science, I think like something we have never had to deal with because we've run a business together for the same time and make the exact same amount of money. We've never had to deal with like if one person makes more or less. Like maybe in the first beginning of our relationship.
We didn't.
Yeah, but we were so young. Like,
but even the first few years,
we didn't have money then.
Yeah, but you're right. Like I feel like I became a teacher, so I made a like whatever $45,000 a year, and then you became whatever and made $45,000. Like I feel like we made the same amount when we started our careers.
Yeah, it was even enough. And or I just mean like eventually once we ran our own business, we like pay ourselves the same salary and all that. But a lot of people have to manage like
I kind of like
not only if different people have different incomes, but then if one person, who's going to be the person who gets the time off when you have a kid or all these kinds of things. Like people, of course, it's ideal if we both can, but some people have to make those decisions.
But it would be so like hot to like pay for you and it matters because now it's like
I'll get it and it's like it doesn't matter.
I do feel like so many couples like kind of just
it can build tension.
No, actually you're right.
And it would be challenging. Like if you're making more than double your partner, of course you're probably the one who's like, I want to supply more because you love each other, but there is that fear of maybe like, but is this fair? Like, obviously, if you love someone and you picture with them forever, there's a point where you go like, my money is your money. Yeah. Like, this is just the circumstance of life and we're pooling our money together in whatever way. But in the early days, I don't know. I could see that being a challenge if you're like, I make so much more or so much less. How do we like do this in a way that feels fair and balanced and doesn't bring stress into this like, or resentment around like, oh my gosh, we want to buy a house together, but you can afford something so much more than I can. Yeah. So are you willing to pay more than me, or do we need to go? Do we need to use my budget to really decide and get a smaller house or a smaller rent or whatever?
Okay, wow, they need to include financial for sure in this.
But yeah, no, I'm like glad in some ways we haven't gone through that, but that would probably also grow you so much emotionally in your relationship because you have to get
like
through that.
For the chores and stuff, like obviously if you were paying way more of the bills, I probably would be like, I'll happily clean the house.
Maybe.
Whereas now I'm like, I ain't cleaning the house, not like you did. Like it's so like there's such an even playing field that we're just like constantly
everything has to
like
be even.
Yeah, everything feels so even that it has to stay even. I also like can live in such mess.
Yeah.
Like I just can, and I'm just like a gay guy with none of the gay attributes.
35-year-old gay, I've finally come to realize and learned like what I did when I had an edible last night was literally organize our cellar room, and I was like, this is what I want to do with my time.
That's amazing.
No, I know, I actually did feel good about it, but then I was just like, it's kind of so. I was like, I don't want to get high to do anything else. I want to get high and like clean and go through my house room by room and sort it out.
Okay, well, I think I have more of an issue because what I wanted to do was get high and paint, which is great, but then also grind the wall.
What do you mean
like,
grind the wall?
Put on like a really sexy Bad Bunny song and like actually put my hands on the wall and like grind and practice like literally how my ass moves. Dance like I have been doing the same thing since I was a kid, which is just on my spare time I just want to dance.
How do you need to like find a way to like bring that into your life? Like why don't you take dance classes? Or is that like tainted if you're like taking it too seriously?
I don't know. I actually,
like how could you incorporate dance in your life that would
well,
be like
I always like, you know, get mad at my parents as we all do, but I think maybe I do it more than others where I'm like, I clearly didn't want to do piano. Why the hell did you not put me in dance? Like every time I sat in front of a piano, I was like, I can't think of anything I would want to do less. But there was such a weird like you do piano thing, and it's like imagine that was dance. I'd be behind Madonna right now, like on tour. But there's also something about like I have taken dance classes. No, I actually loved them. They're so fun. But it's really eye opening when you're like, oh my god, this is so hard. Yeah. But I actually really enjoy it. No, I love a challenge. No, I need to take dance
considering
classes.
you're good at like making yourself paint and doing art. I'm surprised you haven't put yourself more if you love dance so much. But I will say, like, just because you love dance doesn't mean you want it in a structured environment.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Like it could just be like feeling the moment and moving your body.
I weirdly can satisfy it a lot because by going out, it's
your love language is dance.
Oh yeah, well,
add that to the 7.
Well, no, I have physical touch on it, but yeah, if the physical touch involves grinding, oh my god, we've had many therapy sessions where the therapist is like, Mitch, you have to grind, Greg. And I'm so into grinding. I'm also really good at grinding. It was like my first sexual experiences were grinding in high school with girls. It's like, this was hot. I can always get aroused if it involves like a good song, like Usher playing and a waist winding on me. We're good.
Note taken.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, hopefully we survived.
Yeah.
We're still alive. There were some moments of tension.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, you're around for 17 years. There's going to be some tension, you know?
That's for sure.
And I think, no, I don't have any sage advice.
No, me neither. But do the test. It was fun.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. And I think this will be, like, now that we've thought about it more, I'm sure our next therapy session will reference this. And it's like a nice starting place to be able to have conversations from. But thanks for listening.
Absolute slay. See you soon.
Hope you know your love language now and can talk to your partner about it.
Bye.
Bye.